When you first came down from heaven, you told me, heavens, no joke. The stars were your ally, and they formed a makeshift balcony, so you could gaze upon all you hold inside you. From a reference point. You studied the sterling gossamer webs that held everything finely connected. And thus a moment, you accepted that every path has its course and judgment would not delay it. Stars are made from the tissue scarring of a female expanding so wide that she begins to amplify at unknowable rates. The closest calibration to exact they can measure her as is the mystery. She's only space. She only knows grace. Because what else could you be when you are the entry point to existence? The planets are her birthmarks, representing different fates the field of expression could take when carrying out a portion of the whole. Expression is existence. And she thought up octaves so that a lesson can be learned on a sliding scale, from subtle to coarse, all done with love, just so you could see what you look like from a reference point. I'd like to imagine that beyond the dimensions of this twisted game, we are all up in a roller rink, holding each other together with our laughter like a broken vase with an inside joke after we tumble to the floor, gazing into one another's eyes, uninhibited, sheer essence, cradled in the glittered womb of love's arena, that all the hate that is experienced down here is just poorly transmitted hieroglyphics of our true nature. Contrast for the sake of contrast, allowing us to learn about ourselves through the ballad of what is not. But we were lovers once, before we went this way, before we forgot, and everything split off through the prism of the disco ball, before we reflected the light of the directions we chose, when we were still flow. But we hollowed when the beam struck, and scattered into rays, leaving us as memories of a riddled heart. And we keep on spinning. We find new meaning, and your words only cut me now. When I found out I was God, I had a lot of shame for what I created. My blush rose from caverns of tiny worlds where I explored everything I hated. If consciousness required to consummate, I wrestled with a lot of pressure to escape. I was worn-torn, heavy armory, worn about as celestial jewelry. When I found out I was God, I crawled into the fetal position. I needed a release from all the responsibility. This was painfully embarrassing. I had an awful lot to reconcile. I grieved until I threw up bile, manifested the void to hold all my denial. There are several different shades of black, and none of them enjoy being called red. When you understand that you invented this, it could drive you into paralysis. When I found out I was God, I was inconsolable. I felt all alone, existentially alone. My echoes kept forming wormholes I didn't ask for. I resented that I had to exist. I wanted nothing more than the sweetest retreat. But every time I tried to unlife myself, I kept making a bigger mess, spilling more breath into motion, life into fruition, invoked every kind of conscious sin. I needed to shatter myself into unfathomable leases, just to feel a namesake, just to take the edge off of being so one. God is infinitely happier now that she is finding herself, but she doesn't ever want to put herself back together again. Never the intention for divine intervention. I'm guessing that the fallen meant to fall in dimensions, meaning drop dramatically to a lower state of consciousness. A fall from grace? Maybe they felt everything was moving too fast, or perhaps they have their own reasons. And inherently, when you are rendered unconscious, there is no way to really know peace, since peace resides in unity, where there is an awareness that the other is you. And awareness begets understanding, and the fruits of understanding are kindness. Unavoidably then, unconsciousness has the predicament attached to it of inflicting pain. Unfortunately, one cannot have a low vibration without committing some form of violence, is my observation. I'm not sure if this vibratory drop was agreed to or not. Perhaps the fallen desired to go at a slower rate, or they broke off from the impact of acceleration, is my contemplation. And since source is in all, that would mean the devil is still source, but the part of creation in non-acceptance. And so the forces at play would be acceptance and denial, expressed as freedom and oppression, conscious and unconscious, unity and division, love and fear. Maybe the fallen are afraid of going too fast because that would change their phase of consciousness, since fear and love are the only motivations inside all of creation. And since Source is everything, it can accommodate everyone's beliefs, even though we sign up to be in an objective experience as a way to sculpt something from pure clay. The clay is unconditional, like, whatever you want me to be, fam. 1, 2, 3, fam. Then there appears to be a core decision we are left with. When you find out life is a game, will you stop playing? Will you hide inside a human identity to avoid your eternity? If not, then the last choice that remains is, will you dare to still treat other illusions kindly, as if they matter, as if they are you, even if it only is just a dream?